Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with another design team project for Birch Press Designs. And for this one, I'm using the Prismatic triangle layer. There are so many possibilities with this. I love the geometric shape and the feel that this set has. Now, as always, with this one, a little bit more so that you can use each of the layers individually. So if you like the fine detail of layer A, then you can go with that. They do work well as the set because each one, of course, is wider and then narrows down. But I'm going to show you, because as I was making the first card that was in my head, a second card came out. And for the second one, I'm only going to use layer C, where the first card, I'm actually going to be using all three layers. So I dug into my stash. I love to ink smush and create backgrounds. And I had done a video a little bit ago just creating a ton of backgrounds. So I pulled some of them out and I loved these three colors. So I went with a black and gray and a greenish tint and also a purple. And it's pretty cool looking. When I layer these together, it looks like a piece of marble. So it was a lot of fun. But I also wanted to fill in the center sections, those areas that were open. And since these have such a geometric feel, I wanted to go metallic. So I pulled out a scrap piece of copper and black, and I'm going to use, of course, the base, the first layer, for those pieces, because I'm going to trap all of those pieces up there and fill them in as I go. But then because I did that, I had two more of the prismatic triangles in that one layer. So I'm like, okay, there's got to be something I can do with these, because I did not want them go to waste, because I cannot throw anything away. How about y'all? I must keep all of these pieces, and they will be used in other cards. So here I'm going directly onto my standard A2 size card base. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it is a top folding card. I'm going to go directly onto this card base, and I'm going to set down my first layer. And then I'm going to follow up with the second, and then of course the final. Now in between, as I'm putting glue on each of the layers, I am going to set a acrylic block down to make sure that these do adhere. I am using my art glitter glue, and it is quick to grab, but sometimes because these are so fine, they can just pick up in the corners. So I'm just going to make sure that I put something just with a little bit of weight. And I keep throwing this poor little piece down. This little piece has taken a beating. It really has. If you noticed before, when I was matching it up to the metallic paper, got it caught on the corner, almost ripped it. It is very fine. But I think that's why it's my favorite layer as well, because of the detail that it has. By just adding this last image on top of it, that's what really pulls in the marble effect. So again, look in those scraps. You know, if you have just general shapes for your dies like these, you could really create some beautiful cards. So now I'm just going to have fun, and I'm going to intertwine the black cardstock along with the copper. So I'm going to be putting the glue down onto the card base and then placing my pieces where they need to go. So it's like a puzzle. So if you don't like puzzles, this is not for you. If you like puzzles, then this is definitely for you. Now you can have fun with the triangles to say, okay, do I want that small one to be the copper, or do I want the smaller one to be the black? Which way do I want this triangle to go on top of these other triangles? So of course, since they are pointing to going up, I do want that small section to be another black. So it looks like these are just piling on top of each other. So that when it comes to the triangle now towards the front, that's all going to be copper. Now, I could have made that last triangle black, which would have pushed it to the back. So again, it's all of what your eye is seeing, how you can make these images come forward or back, which is another element that I love regarding these layering dies. Like I've said before, is it coming towards you or is it going away from you? It's really cool, the way that it can just, your eye tries to focus in on that. And it can go both ways with that. So those are my pieces. I think it looks really cool. I really like the effect that it gives. Just using some backgrounds that you've made and you're not sure what you're going to do with them. I already stamped my sentiment and I have it that says, "To my crafty friend." And this comes from the stamp set Thank You, I believe. I'm looking at that now because my brain has just forgotten. Yes. Oh, nope. Just Because. That is the stamp set. That's usually the one that I grab for. So sorry about that. So once that's done, now remember, I had these two other pieces that I used because I wanted the center pieces from the copper and the black. So just using that one layer of the die, if I layer them on top of each other and offset them, I get this shadow effect that goes through it. Now I grabbed another piece of metallic in gold from my stash. I have this little box that always sits next to me filled with scraps. I just cut one more and layered that as well because I had to have 3 layers. Now, what I'm going to do, instead of filling in the sections, because again, I've kind of offset this, I took a strip of my craft cardstock, which is the exact width of this prismatic shape on an angle. And I took the die and I cut right into it. So these two pieces of craft are going to come in from the top and they're going to come in from the bottom, but you're not going to see that color on the inside. So again, playing a trick on the eye to say, okay, how come I'm not seeing that craft cardstock coming in behind, or anything like that? You know, just trying to. So again, I'm still playing with a puzzle, but I'm actually going to do this on the outside, on the edge of it. So you can see that's perfectly even, or just a little smaller, just right up underneath the image. And then this piece as well, I'm going to take that right into the top. And even that little tiny piece is going to wrap right around the edge of that. I'm going to set that in place, and then I'm going to trim off the edges using my long shears, which will allow me to do just one quick cut and get a straight cut. So you can see it looks like it's crossing somehow. So I really like that effect. Now this whole panel is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it will fit perfectly on my standard A2 size card base, which is top folding. For my sentiment, I'm going to be using the Big Shine Sugar Script die. And I used the craft for the shadow, and I'm using black for the sentiment itself, and I cut that out 3 times. So I will be layering this up onto that piece of craft cardstock just to get some dimension with the sentiment itself. Now, after I have these 3 layered, I actually, there was one night I was sitting back and I was able to sit back and just watch some YouTube videos, get myself caught up, because I love watching what everybody creates. I get inspired by it. And of course, one of the videos I was watching, of course, was by Jennifer McGuire. So I'm going to try her technique where she puts the shimmer pen down on the sentiment and then coats it with the clear glaze. I know, I've never done this. It's amazing. Who would have thought? And I have to admit, it's pretty cool. So here I come with my shimmer pen, and I'm just going to cover the sentiment. And then once that's dry, I am going to come in with my Nouveau glaze. You can also use glossy accents. That'll be just fine as well. And then it traps the shimmer in there. So thank you for that. It's kind of cool. Now this does take some time to dry. I do let mine dry overnight, but I do like the way that it does level itself out. It's pretty cool. Honestly, this was my first time I tried this. The tool that I'm using has a rounded edge. I could have used my craft pick, but when I was using my craft pick, it was actually, because the cardstock's getting soft, I was sticking into it. So with the smooth edge, I was able to just roll literally right along. So those are the two cards. Again, the second one was inspired because I didn't want to waste the pieces from the first one. So same die set, two completely different looks that pictures just cannot capture because of all of the lighting that I have for it. So I do hope you enjoyed this project today with Birch Press Designs and using the Prismatic triangle die set and the Big Shine Sugar Script die set as well. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All the products that I used today will also be listed down below in the video description, just in case you want to check them out and see any more information about them. I do want to thank you so much for joining me today and our video with our design team project. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe and tune in for my next video. Here are a few other videos I thought you might like that I used Birch Press Design products in. I hope everyone's having a great day. Make sure you take care, but always remember what's most important. Always be creative.